Well, did you ever make old cannon made with lovely pickled cream? And the greens and scallions mingle like a picture in a dream. Did you ever make a hole on top to hold the melting flake of the creamy flavored butter that your mothers used to make? Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it now, the surer I'm to cry. Oh, when and there on the happy days when troubles we know not, and our mothers made cold cannon in the little skillet pot. Well, did you ever take potato cake and boxed it to the school, tucked underneath your rockster with your books, your slate and rule? And when teacher wasn't looking, sure a great big bite you'd take of the creamy flavored, soft and melting sweet potato cake. Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it, sure the nearer I'm to cry. Oh, when in there, the happy days when troubles we knew not, when our mothers made cold cannon in the little skillet pot. Well, did you ever go a courting girls when the evening sun went down, and the moon began a peeping from behind the hiller down? And you wander down the body where the chloricon was seen, and you whispered love and praises to your dawn, dear sweet Colleen. Oh, you did, so did she, and so did I. And the more I think about it now, the nearer I'm to cry. Oh, when in the happy days when troubles we know not, and our mothers made cold cannon in the little skillet pot. Oh, you did, so did he, and so did I. And the more I think about it now, the nearer I'm to cry. When in the happy days when troubles we know not, and our mothers made cold cannon in the little skillet pot. Howdy, everybody. We need more songs about awesome mothers and the innocence of childhood. Is this modern crap, like from Kanye to Kid Rock and everything in between? All these modern songs are about having a crush when you're like 17, or just pure narcissism, like having one of those like unrequited love crushes and just like worshiping yourself. Like that's a lot of that modern music. You know? Hey, I mean, I like it isn't a hey, what are you gonna do sort of thing. Like just don't listen to it. Like I'm not definitely not better off for ever having listened to anything off the radio. Anyways, I really hate the fact that every time I'm on Twitch watching Zero Lenny or Brent Daniel, Bezos's pet Turkish commie Hassan Piker gets shoehorned into recommendations for literally no reason. For literally no reason. I hate that. I really dislike that. Apparently, he got banned for threatening a U.S. senator or something, but it got reversed. We were this close, guys. We were this close. Oh, I'm sleepy today, so this is going to be an extra short episode. Got a lot of paperwork, got a lot of stuff I'm handling, and that's just how it is. Just came back from Stations of the Cross. It was a good time. Although you got to do 17 extended squats when you do Stations of the Cross. It's good exercise. It'll wake you up. But pop this out so I'm not talking too loud. Oh, something I wanted to mention yesterday when I was talking about 9/11. Apparently, QAnon was a military helicopter repairman who moved to the Philippines right before 9/11. That's not a confirmed thing, but that's the best. That's the best guess that I've heard. Um, um, father, I think, of a ex-friend of the person who leaked that information, and the person is a very knowledgeable person, and when he's getting first um uh not second hand, third hand, what is it, first person when he's getting first-person, first-hand accounts from his own observations, he very rarely lies. From the looks of it, from the suppositions of it. Oh, it's really wild that rich politicos are always like, but if you vote Republican, things will just get worse for everyone. Homie. Why did Biden, as the direct manager of both conflicts, proudly allow 300,000 Palestinians, minimum, and 1.2 million Ukrainians, that's more of a maximum, to die as a direct manager of those conflicts? He didn't seem to regret it at all. But what are you talking about? You're just talking about outsourcing the issues, and you're crying about things getting worse in your country? Like, do you even care? Do you even know how this works? Do you have any morality at all? Anyways. That's it, Buster. I'm reducing your resolution with the Hakushi cube. You're Hatsune Miku now. Into the jar! You know, Trump's number one issue right now should this is the unfortunate issue. His number one issue right now should genuinely be trying to save the Christians in Syria. That should be his number one issue. Biden overtaxed the Russian military so much that Bashar al-Assad, who I explained last episode, is an ally of Russia, who was protecting Christians in Syria, had to flee, and the Russian forces went with him, and Israel, Turkey, Al-Qaeda, all muscled in on the Kurds, the Alawites, and the I can't remember the specific Marionite. I think it's Marionite orders of religion, of holy people, peaceful people, and then you get this jihadist branch, ISIS, created as a, mind you, collaboration between Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the CIA. That's where ISIS comes from. Because they're Wahhabists, they're backed with technology by Israel, and they're funded by the United States, who funds Israel. And if it wasn't for Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, a cooperation between England and America, Saudi Arabia would be podunk camel farmers, which is perfectly fine. Be a lot more honorable, venerable than what they've done. And unfortunately, Trump is not addressing that. He's addressing the very, very real issue of Teslas. Oh, you gotta make sure that you gotta protect, you gotta put Homeland Security on every single Tesla charging station. As I said, it's time to kind of just tune that out, because it's gonna be awful until Trump gets his act together, because he's letting this younger man who has always been a slick talker and a snake oil salesman to manipulate him. Gotta hate vaporware. Gotta hate this weird vaporwave 80s politics with the cocaine and the drugs and the Miami and the like selling you nothing sort of mentality. You gotta hate it. It's awful. Hopefully 90s nostalgia won't be like hand-picked worst parts of of millennial culture. I have a feeling that we have a higher standard than what the Generation X allowed themselves to succumb to, but who knows? As I said, not a lot separating generations from each other. In fact, generational separation, just like racial separation, is one very easy way of dividing and conquering people. Got to be willing to collaborate with people who aren't exactly like you if you live in the same country or the same state, or the same county. That's really necessary. And Christians that think they can convert the world to Christianity by the sword, just like the Wahhabist version of Islam that Saudi Arabia propagates, they're so out of line. They stand before the pearly gates, and they're told they didn't even remove the stumbling stone from their own path, let alone those behind them. and had profaned the name of God. Eternity of regret. If you're one of those people that treat aggression as a baseline, what do you do in response to increased aggression from your challengers? This is a big thing. You see this a lot in dog psychology. The only place you can go is down, like an unruly dog. Whereas a more well put together personality, regardless of where they are in the mental hierarchy, can hold back until it is deemed necessary to increase aggression in order to send a message, then pull back. You see, it's an instinct inside of all of us to, when faced with any sort of threat, to immediately run into deadly force. It is incredibly helpful to the long term, the butterfly effect, to the long term, to take that opportunity to teach somebody and to inspire somebody instead of just murdering them. Now, I'm not saying that that goes for every single case, but you say somebody pulls a knife out on you and you do like some crazy, like, this is just an example. You do some crazy, like, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee stuff, you kick it out of their hand, you pull their arm behind their back, but then you let them go afterward, right? Instead of like snapping their neck or whatever. That person will remember that for a very long time. They'll remember what true strength looks like and feels like, and its proximity. And that will drastically change that person's life, and that person can go on to change other people's lives. But the thing about people being permanently stunted in this pseudo-aggression and pseudo-masculinity causing extreme aggression is the fact that it's just comfort to death, comfort to death, comfort to death, comfort to death. That's all you really see people floating from, is comfort to death. And this is why drugs are so prevalent. And you actually have to defeat that comfort to death bipolar pendulum swing if you want to prevent drugs from proliferating. You can't just prevent drugs from proliferating forcefully. No drug war I've seen has ever worked. And most drug wars are actually about eliminating competition. So after studying up for many, many years and being aware of what Duterte is about, I don't take pity on him for being wrangled by the ICC. I don't. Because he's a fentanyl addict. And if he's a fentanyl addict, he's getting it from somewhere. And if he's getting it from somewhere, he knows drug dealers. And if he knows drug dealers, he has a side to fight for. And if he has a side to fight for, he'll fight all the other sides on behalf of them. That's where you get the death squads pretending that they're going after drugs when they're really going after the competition. Anyways, I really don't care if you clean up the cities or not. Cities aren't really the as many people who are wise know, cities are not the penultimate or ultimate goal for communal human living. It's closer to well-structured villages with well-balanced ecosystem. That's very important, because what cities are behavioral sinks, like in the Rat Utopia experiment. They're behavioral sinks by the way that they're structured alone. And though they do incentivize aggressive workers to rise up the ranks and then get hired by particularly parasitic predators, they're not good for the human soul or the human experience or the world in the long term. So, as I said before, it takes immense strength to be kind, and self-control is the key to negotiation. Life is not a grab bag or a meaningless anarchy. It is a tightly wound, interconnected order where everything, including every single thing, person, animal, bug, proper flow of a river, a lake, the ocean itself, as violent as it is, ice, everything has its proper place. And when you shirk that proper place, you get disaster. Even if it might prove to be some sort of short-term extraction that can provide you a little bit of lucre in the short term, it's not long-term succor. There is inherent law, and the degree to which leaders shirk that order of that law is the degree to which they are deemed tyrannical. It's as simple as that. Alright, y'all. I'm eepy. Y'all have a good one.